Hey everyone, and welcome back to English Easy. I'm Tony.
And I'm Ella.
Thanks for joining us again. Today's episode is all about a very real part of life. Problems, stress, and difficult decisions.
That's right. Sometimes life feels easy, but sometimes everything happens at once. Work problems, big decisions, small annoyances. It can feel like a lot.
And today, we're going to show you the English you need to talk about those moments. Here is how today's episode will work. First, we'll listen to a short conversation between two friends, Emma and Josh. They will use real everyday English, and you will hear lots of useful phrases about, stress, confusion, and making tough choices.
Then, after the dialogue, Tony and I will explain each important word and phrase slowly and clearly. We will tell you what it means, give you simple examples, and even share some personal stories to help you remember them better.
And remember, don't worry if you don't catch everything the first time. You can always pause, go back, and listen again. So, are you ready to hear how Emma and Josh handle a really difficult week?
Let's listen to the dialogue.
Josh, honestly, my brain is a total mess today. I feel like I'm in a muddle. Nothing is clear in my head. Everything feels mixed up.
Oh, no, Emma. What's happened? Something at work?
Well, work and also just life in general. Right now, I'm facing a huge dilemma. I got 2 job offers. Both are good in different ways, but I can't decide.
Wow, that's big. What are the jobs like?
Well, one job pays really well. It's in a big company, a good salary, fancy office, but the work sounds super boring. Just spreadsheets and reports all day.
Not very exciting.
Exactly. The second job sounds amazing. Working with people, planning events, traveling sometimes. I think I would love the work, but the pay is much lower. So now I'm in a dilemma. Money or passion? Stability or happiness?
Classic dilemma. That's a hard one.
It really is. And on top of all that, my current job is making things worse. They keep giving me more and more tasks. No extra pay, no help. I feel like I'm in a tight corner. Like I can't move in any direction without problems.
That's horrible. Small problems like losing your keys or missing a bus, those are mildly irritating, annoying, but you get over it. But what you're dealing with sounds intensely annoying. It's the kind of stress that stays inside you all day.
Yeah, every tiny thing now makes me crazy. Someone at work left dirty dishes in the kitchen, and I almost cried about it. It's like my patience is completely gone. Honestly, sometimes I just want to take a backseat, stop trying to fix everything, let someone else deal with the mess.
Yeah, and that's okay. Sometimes you don't always have to be the one in charge. Sometimes stepping back helps you breathe again.
Maybe you're right. And, I'm trying to stay positive. I keep telling myself, maybe I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, maybe this crazy time will end soon.
I believe it will. You are strong, Emma. But you're right. You have to make a decision soon. Otherwise, you might come to a dead end where neither job is available anymore.
Exactly. That's my big fear. If I wait too long, I lose both options and be stuck in the same old miserable place.
So maybe first step, get to the bottom of things. Really find out the truth about both jobs. Ask hard questions. Talk to people who already work there. Get real answers, not just what they tell you in interviews.
Good idea. I'll email both companies, maybe even call someone who works there. I want to know what a real day at work looks like.
Exactly. And you also need to get a grasp of what matters most to you.
Yeah, like I need to sit down and really think, is it better to have more money but feel bored every day? Or have less money but feel excited and proud of what I do?
Exactly. No one can tell you the right answer, but once you get a grasp of what your heart really wants, the decision will be easier.
Thanks, Josh. Honestly, just talking about it is helping me already. My brain still feels a bit muddled, but at least I see a way forward now.
Good. You're doing the right thing. Take your time. Ask questions, listen to yourself. You are stronger and smarter than you think, Emma.
Thanks. I really needed to hear that today.
Anytime. That's what friends are for.
Poor Emma. That was a really difficult situation. She had so much stress and so many big decisions to make. But it's great because we heard lots of useful phrases in that short conversation.
Exactly. And now we're going to go through those words and phrases together. Let's start with the very first thing Emma said. She said she was in a muddle. Now, when you're in a muddle, it doesn't just mean you're busy. It means your mind feels totally messy. You're confused. You don't know what to do first. Everything feels mixed up.
Exactly. It's like when you have so many thoughts and tasks flying around that you can't even decide what's important anymore.
I remember last year when I moved to a new city, it was crazy. New flat, new job, new neighborhood. I was totally in a muddle for weeks. One day I tried to go grocery shopping and I ended up walking in circles for almost an hour because I couldn't find the supermarket. And then I realized I had left all my important papers at home. Passport, ID, everything. It felt like my brain had just stopped working.
That sounds just like me when I started my first teaching job. I remember waking up at 5 a.m., trying to get everything ready. Lesson plans, books, coffee, and I would always forget something. One day, I even left my house wearing 2 different shoes. I was so in a muddle that my students noticed before I did.
It's that feeling where your body is moving, but your brain is running 10 minutes behind.
Exactly. And it's important to know being in a muddle doesn't mean you're lazy or bad at your job. It just means life has given you too much at once, and your mind needs time to catch up.
Yeah, it happens to everyone, and it's a really natural, friendly phrase. You can easily say things like, I'm in a muddle. I don't know where to start. Or, she's in a muddle because she has 5 deadlines this week.
It's a little funny sometimes when you say it about yourself or friends.
Absolutely, and it's a lot nicer than just saying, I'm confused. It shows that you're overwhelmed, but in a way that people can understand and even smile about.
All right, so next, Emma said she was facing a dilemma. Now let's slow down a little there. A dilemma is when you have 2 choices, but neither one is easy. It's not like you have one good choice and one bad choice. It's that both choices have something good and something bad. And when you're facing a dilemma, it's really hard to decide.
Yeah, and what's interesting is a dilemma doesn't always have to be about big life things. Sometimes it's big, like moving to a new country or staying home. But sometimes it's small, like choosing between 2 birthday parties when they are on the same night.
Yeah, true. But big or small dilemmas always make you feel stressed because you don't want to make the wrong decision. I still remember one of the first big dilemmas I had. I was just finishing university, and I got 2 offers. One was to work at a famous company in London. Really exciting. Everyone would be impressed. The other was to stay close to home at a smaller company, but I would have more time for my family and my hobbies. I cried about it one night. It felt so heavy because whatever I chose, I knew I would miss something important.
I know that feeling too well, Ella. When I moved abroad for a teaching job, it wasn't easy either. I loved my family and my friends. I didn't want to, leave them, but at the same time, I really wanted an adventure. I was totally facing a dilemma for weeks. I even made a big list, pros and cons. But the list didn't help much because my heart and my head wanted different things.
Exactly. That's another thing. Sometimes your head says one thing and your heart says something else. And that's what makes a dilemma so hard. It's not just logic, it's also emotions.
Yeah, and sometimes people around you will give you advice, but it doesn't always help because at the end of the day, you have to live with the choice you make.
Absolutely. And that's why we say phase a dilemma, because it feels like standing right in front of something difficult. You can't escape it. You have to deal with it.
So when you want to use this phrase, you can say things like, I'm facing a dilemma about moving to a new city, or She's facing a dilemma between studying abroad and getting a new job. And if you want to make it even simpler, you can also say, I'm in a dilemma. I'm in a dilemma. Or he's in a dilemma about what to do next.
All right. Next, Emma said she was in a tight corner. Now, this is a really great phrase. When you say you're in a tight corner, it means you are stuck in a difficult situation. You don't have much space to move. You don't have many choices. It's like being in a small, uncomfortable place and you can't easily get out.
Yeah, and it's not just about feeling uncomfortable. It's about feeling trapped. Like whatever you do, it's going to be hard. I remember once, early in my career, I was working at a school where the manager gave me 2 impossible tasks. One task needed to be finished that same day, and the other needed to be finished before noon. But there was no way to do both. I was totally in a tight corner.
Oh, wow. I can imagine. And the worst part is, when you're in a tight corner, you often feel alone. Like no one is coming to rescue you. You have to figure it out by yourself.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not even about work. I remember when I was younger, I borrowed my friend's bike, and I accidentally scratched it. Not a big scratch, but still, it was noticeable. I didn't have enough money to fix it, and I felt terrible. I was in a tight corner. Do I tell him right away and risk him getting angry? Or wait, save up money quietly, and fix it without telling him? Neither choice felt good.
I had something like that too. Once I promised 2 friends that I would help them without checking my calendar first. Then I realized both of them needed me at the same time, same day. I couldn't be in 2 places at once. I felt trapped and guilty. It was definitely being in a tight corner.
And that's the thing. When you're in a tight corner, you usually feel stressed, guilty, and pressured all at once. It's not fun, but it happens to everyone.
Yeah. And it's such a useful phrase to describe that feeling.
Here are some examples you can use in your life. I'm in a tight corner at work. I have 2 deadlines today.
He was in a tight corner after losing his passport abroad.
And here is another one. She is in a tight corner because she promised too much to too many people.
And you don't even have to explain everything. Sometimes just saying, I'm in a tight corner, helps people understand that you need a little patience or support.
Absolutely. It's a simple but powerful way to ask for understanding when life feels really difficult.
All right. Next, let's talk about 2 great ways to describe different kinds of problems. Mildly irritating and intensely annoying.
So first, mildly irritating. This means something is a little bit annoying. It's not a big problem. It bothers you, but you can still smile or move on easily.
Exactly. Like when you spill a little bit of coffee on your shirt right before work, or when the bus is late by 5 minutes, it's not the end of the world. It's just mildly irritating.
I remember one time I was late for a meeting because every traffic light turned red. Every single one. It wasn't a disaster, but it was definitely mildly irritating. I remember sitting there in my car just laughing because it was so silly.
Yeah, or like when your phone battery dies just before you take a perfect photo. Not a huge problem, just enough to make you sigh and say, huh, come on.
Exactly. Now, on the other side, we have intensely annoying. And this means something that really makes you angry or very, very frustrated.
Yeah, intensely annoying is when a small thing keeps happening again and again, or when it feels personal, like it's attacking your peace of mind. For example, once I lived in an apartment building, my upstairs neighbor played really loud music at 2 a.m. every night for a week. At first, it was just mildly irritating, but after the 3rd night, it became intensely annoying. I couldn't sleep. I was so angry, I actually bought earplugs.
Oh, no. I had something like that, too. When I lived in a shared house at university, one of my housemates used to leave dirty dishes in the sink for days. At first, I thought, okay, maybe he's busy. But after a week, oh my goodness, it was intensely annoying. Every time I wanted to cook, there was no space because of his mess.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that moves from a little problem to this is driving me crazy.
All right, now let's talk about another really useful phrase, to take a back seat.
Yeah. When you take a backseat, it means you stop trying to lead. Stop trying to control everything. You step back and let someone else take charge. It's like being in a car. The driver is at the front, making the decisions. If you take a backseat, you're just sitting and watching, not driving.
Exactly. And, sometimes it's not because you're lazy or you don't care. It's because you're tired or you feel like someone else can handle it better for a while. And that's okay.
Totally. I remember when I was planning a big family party a few years ago. At first, I was trying to organize everything, the food, the decorations, the music, even the parking. I had got so stressful that I couldn't enjoy anything. So one day I said, and that's it. I'm going to take a back seat, and I just helped where they needed me. And honestly, the party was better because I wasn't trying to control everything.
I love that. I had something similar too. When I was working on a big group project at university, at first, I tried to manage the whole thing when we were meeting, writing emails, all of it. But it got too much. I was stressed, I was cranky, and the team wasn't happy either. So I decided to take a back seat for a while. I let someone else lead the next meeting. I still helped, but I wasn't the boss anymore. And you know what? Everything went more smoothly after that.
So when you use this phrase, it's a way to say, I'm letting others lead now, or I'm giving myself a little rest from making all the big decisions.
All right, now for a really hopeful phrase. See the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I love this one. It means that even though you are in a hard, dark, difficult time, you're starting to see that it's going to get better. There is hope. You're not finished yet, but you can finally see that the bad days are ending.
Exactly. It's like when you're in a long, dark tunnel and finally, far ahead, you see a little bit of light. You're getting closer to the exit. You're not stuck forever. And I remember a time in my life when this phrase really made sense to me. When I was doing my master's degree, there were weeks where I had essays, exams, and presentations all at once. I barely slept. I felt so tired and stressed. I honestly thought I couldn't finish. But then when the last few days of the semester came, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I knew the hard work was almost over and summer was close.
Oh, I had a time like that too. When I was saving money to travel, I worked 2 jobs, teaching in the morning and waitressing at night for months. It felt like I was just working, sleeping, and working again. But one day I looked at my saving accounts and realized I'm almost there. That was my light at the end of the tunnel moment. It gave me so much energy to keep going.
Exactly. It's so powerful when you realize the bad part is not forever. There is an end, and it's coming closer every day.
So when you want to use this phrase, you can say things like, after months of job hunting, I finally got an interview. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Or the house repairs are almost done. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's your turn, Tom.
Yeah, it's been a tough year, but I feel like I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's such a positive way to talk about tough situations. It reminds you, don't give up. Good things are coming.
All right, now let's talk about a phrase that feels a little heavier. Come to a dead end.
Yeah. When you come to a dead end, it means you can't move forward anymore. You've reached a point where there are no more options. It's just like when you're driving down a road and suddenly the road stops. There's no way forward, no way to continue. You have to stop and turn around.
Exactly. And in life, this happens too. You might be working on a project or chasing a dream, and after a while you realize it's not going to work. You have come to a dead end. I remember once I spent months trying to organize a study trip for my students. I emailed companies, talked to schools abroad, tried everything. But in the end, the visa rules changed, and suddenly it was impossible. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't fix it. I'd come to a dead end. It was over.
Oh, that must have been so frustrating. I had a similar experience when I tried to learn how to code. At first, I loved it, learning websites, little apps, things like that. But after a few months, I realized it just wasn't for me. I wasn't excited anymore. I wasn't improving. I wasn't happy. I had come to a dead end with it. And it was okay. Sometimes you realize you need to change direction.
Exactly. Coming to a dead end doesn't mean you failed. It just means that that path wasn't the right one for you, and now you can find a new road. So when you want to use this phrase, you can say, I tried to fix the relationship, but we came to a dead end. Or after months of trying, the company realized they had come to a dead end. Or sometimes you need to accept when a project has reached a dead end.
It's a little sad when it happens, but it's also a new beginning. A dead end means it's time to look for a new path.
All right, now we move on to a really important phrase, to get to the bottom of things.
Yes, when you get to the bottom of things, it means you find the real cause of a problem. You don't just look at the surface, you dig deeper, you ask questions, you investigate, you find out what's really happening.
Exactly. It's like when there is a mystery or a problem, and you don't just guess. You really want to know the truth, the real story. I remember once at school, our team's project kept getting bad marks. We thought we were doing okay, but something wasn't right. At first, we just said, the teacher is too strict. But then we decided to get to the bottom of things. We asked the teacher for feedback. It turned out we weren't following the instructions exactly. We were missing small details. Once we understood that, we fixed it, and our grades went up.
That's a great example, Tom. I had something like that too when I was working at a language school. At first, a few students stopped coming to class. At first, we thought maybe they were just lazy, but the manager said, let's get to the bottom of things. We called the students and asked them. It turned out the problem was with the bus schedule. The bus times had changed, and it was hard for them to get to school. Once we knew that, we helped organize carpooling, and the students came back. See, if we had just guessed, we would have blamed the wrong thing. But by getting to the bottom of things, we found the real answer.
Exactly. So you can use this phrase anytime you want to say, I'm not just guessing, I'm finding the truth. All right, and here's the final phrase that we focus on in today's episode. To get a grasp. Now, when we say we need to get a grasp on something, it means we want to really understand it. Not just a little bit, but properly, clearly, fully. You want to have a good, strong understanding.
Yes, it's like when you first hear about something new and you feel lost. It's all blurry. But after you read more, listen more, and practice a little, you get a grasp on it, and suddenly it makes sense.
Exactly. I remember when I first started learning to drive, at the beginning, everything felt so confusing. The pedals, the mirrors, the road signs. I couldn't even imagine doing all of it at the same time. But after a few weeks of practice, it started to click. I started to get a grasp on driving, and I thought, okay, I can actually do this.
Oh, that's such a good example, Tom. I had something like that, too, when I was learning how to teach English grammar. In the beginning, it was so hard. All the rules, the tenses, the exceptions, it felt impossible. I could copy the rules from the book, but I didn't really understand them. It wasn't until I actually started teaching real students, answering real questions, that I finally got a grasp of it. And it felt amazing. I felt confident for the first time.
Yeah, it's that moment where your brain says, now I understand. It doesn't feel heavy anymore, it feels lighter.
Exactly. And getting a grasp doesn't happen in one day. Sometimes it takes days, weeks, even months. And that's totally normal.
Yeah. And it's so important not to give up because at first everything feels difficult, but little by little you get a grasp, you start to feel stronger and more in control. So how can you use this phrase in daily life?
Well, you can say things like, I'm still trying to get a grasp on my new job. Or, it took me a while, but I finally got a grasp of Spanish grammar. Or, he needs to get a grasp of the basics before moving to harder topics.
Exactly. So remember, when you get a grasp, you move from confusion to clarity, from feeling lost to feeling strong and sure.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We really hope you enjoyed exploring all these powerful expressions.
Thanks for being with us, and until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep learning.
This has been English Easy, your spice to grow with real, natural English. See you next time. Bye for now.